my brother, that's Barrister Oluwole Olatunde. Well, there is saying, especially for some of us here in the as Yorubas, and the saying goes thus: if maybe I should just say it in Yoruba. Ẹni tí ìyà ò bá jẹ kò lè fẹ́ kó ń gbọ́n. That is to say, if you have not undergone apprenticeship, if you have not suffered anything, hardly can you say that you are wise. So the issue of apprenticeship or mentorship or what have you, or whatever name you call it, it is very, very important and very, very key in this profession. The knowledge of law is not something that is innate. Yes, there are some persons that may be gifted in analytical skills, but when it comes to the issue of the knowledge of law, that's a practical application of whatever we have learned, both at the Faculty of Law and then the practical knowledge at the law school, there is actually the need for one to understudy somebody who has been in that practice before you venture into it. Whether it is core litigation, even if it is corporate practice, any aspect, even academic, you will need to leverage on the work that others have done so that we can make their own achievements our own starting point. That is the essence of mentorship. The essence of mentorship is to help us to leverage on the achievements of whoever we take as our mentor in this profession. And I'll give us some practical experiences. I remembered just about a month ago, I was inducted as a notary public. I've been on it since 2018. There was a time, and to the glory of God, at least I've been in this profession now for about 14, 15 years. When I put in my application then, and the CJ of our state, that Kwara State, was to write recommendation for me. He just got a letter from the CJN asking whether Mr. Josiah Olushola Adebayo practices in his jurisdiction, and you should just make recommendation. I was in Lagos when the secretary to the CJ called my phone number and demanded that I should report to the CJ's office because the CJ claimed he did not know me. I have not appeared before him before, and that there is a letter from the CJN for my recommendation as a notary public. I was in Lagos. There was no way I could make it, so I had to call my boss, who is also my mentor in the profession. So when I put a call through to him, he straight away called the CJ of the state, and he said, well, Josiah Adebayo had appeared before you. Maybe my lord did not actually take note. He had appeared before him before. He cited some of the cases that I've done before the CJ, and he gave a beautiful recommendation about me, advantage of mentorship. There are some doors that in this profession that will never open to you if you use your own name. But by the time you use the name that we find difficult to achieve, we easily get it. And there are certain things that when we appear in court here in Ilorin, when people see when they see that this one is coming from this particular farm, oh, you are from this so and so farm, it gives a kind of prestige, and it also boosts confidence. And they know that what we do from the farm is a quality job. And therefore, if anything that is contrary to that quality is seen, people will raise queries and doubt whether this thing is actually coming from that farm or not. I will give an instance. There was a time somebody tried to forge a document from the office and presented it in court. It was because of what they have known the office for. They just put a call through to us in the office and asked if we know about the documents, and then we denied. That's how the person was arrested. So let me just highlight some of the advantages of mentorship. Number one is that it helps us to gain practical advice, encouragement, and support as legal practitioners. Whether we are just coming in or we have been there for some time, if you have a mentor, somebody whose shoulder you can climb, it will enable us to get practical advice on serious fundamental issues of law that ordinarily you may not be able to crack on your own. There are some cases that I have handled in the office. I was looking at it from a particular perspective, but because I have a boss who is also a mentor, when I take touch to him and he looks at it, he gives certain advice that, well, what you are doing is okay, but I feel that it's better you look at it from this angle or from this angle or from the other angle. And it actually helps to bring perspective. It brings another opinion and helps to give quality to what one does. So you gain practical advice, practical experience, practical encouragement, and support for the work. And it also helps us to learn from the past experiences of others. That's the number two point I would like to share with us. If we are starting out and we are starting on our own, we may not have the opportunity of having all the precedences that we will need for some of the work that we may be called upon to undertake. But if you have a mentor that you can easily call upon, if you face a particular, in fact, my boss used to say that there is actually nothing new in law. There is nothing new in law that there is no precedent for it. So as we are starting out, or as we are starting out, we may not have the precedent for some of the things that will come our way. But if we have a mentor that we can actually look up to, or we are in pupillage under a particular under a particular senior, then it can help us to garner experience. It can help us to get that which we need to solve a particular case or particular issues that is confronting us. All that we just need to do is to fall back on the precedences that, and then we use that, adapt it to suit the issue or the case that we have to do. And another advantage of mentorship is that it enables one to increase social confidence. I remember before I start out in the legal practice, my first appearance in court will have also been a very, very major disaster. Why? Because that was the first time. I don't know how it's been done. But in the office, what we do is that we have some seniors, and then we sit down and we talk about each matter that each person is going for in court. The essence of this is actually to give one confidence when you are approaching a judge. In fact, we are so grilled to such an extent that some of the questions, likely questions that may come from your opposing party or even from the judge or from the court itself were raised and then were answered. And therefore, by the time we get to court, it actually helps one's confidence, especially when some of those things were raised and then we're able to tackle and answer, and a follow-up question is also asked, and then it was as if we have been in the practice for a very long time, not knowing that we are just somebody that was just called maybe less than a year. So when we are under mentorship, it helps to boost our social confidence. And also, if people actually know you with the mentor, what they normally say is that that's so and so. That's the child or the mentee of this particular lawyer. And that also has a way of boosting one's confidence and morale, especially when faced with difficult or challenging situations. Because of the benefits of having a mentor, and then the fact that you can leverage on their past experiences, their past success, and their past work, it will help to enhance quality. Like the one I narrated, there was a time I had a case, and I was looking at the case was actually in the magistrate court, and the judgment or the ruling of the decision of the magistrate court, we found that decision to be absolved. So my thinking at that time, that was maybe about a year after I was called, but I was just a year plus in the practice. My thinking was that let's go on appeal, let's challenge this decision, let's do this, let's do that. It was when I raised this issue up in the office that the best option for us is an appeal. It was my mentor, my boss in the office, who drew my attention to the fact that we don't. This is because we are actually questioning how the magistrate had handled the matter, not necessarily the decision. If we are able to impugn the conduct of the magistrate, then it will go to the merit of the decision that the magistrate has reached. So he advised that we should go by way of judicial review at the High Court, and then we filed appeal. That was the first time I will be hearing of what is called a judicial review. We filed application, which was very, very fast. It was faster than if we had undergone the process of appeal. So we filed application for judicial review at the High Court. It was assigned that same week to a particular judge. We served all the parties, including the magistrate. And then the matter proceeded to hearing. In a short while, the decision of the court was rendered, condemning what the magistrate has done. And then our client then had respite. This was done, that quality decision was made because we have a mentor that provided guidance on how to go about that particular issue at hand. And finally, maybe so that we can entertain questions from people that may want to ask questions. One other advantage of mentorship is that it helps to develop one communication skills, study, and personal skills. I learned very well from my boss on the issue that has to do with how to conduct cases, how to get or search and research for authorities, and when we get authorities, how to also get what is called practice notes so that some of the authorities, you may just stumble on an authority. Then how do you note it down in your practice notes so that anytime the authority is needed for a legal issue, you can fall back on that authority and then make use of the authority. I think I want to stop here since it's almost 5:30 and see if we have anybody that has one or two questions before I leave. Thank you so much once again for the opportunity. I so much appreciate it. God bless all of us. Do we have questions? All microphones are muted.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. It's so good to have Barrister Josiah speak to us. Very concise, straight to the point. Thank you so very much. We really appreciate that. And Mr. Larry Adams just joined us. And then for those of us who may have any questions, please, you are most welcome to ask your question at this time. Please, before we move on to the next presentation. Thank you very much. We are waiting for your question. You can choose to drop your questions in the chat box. No problem, we'll attend to it. And if you want to talk, you can unmute yourself and talk to us. We'll take cognizance of that. All right. Okay, let me quickly do a recap of maybe some of the keynotes that I was able to make while the presentation was going on. And one of them is this, that he spoke as an elder. You know, elders, they speak in parables and proverbs. And one of the proverbs is that if you have not undergone apprenticeship, you cannot say are wise. That's what he said. Mr. Larry, please can you just help us with the volume of your, can you help us mute from your end so that we don't have disruptions? Thank you very much. Yes, so he said that if you have not undergone apprenticeship, you cannot say you are wise. And that underscores it all because you've been learning from the experience of people who have gone ahead of you. He also said that we need to leverage the achievements of whoever we take as our mentor so that where they stop will be where we start from. And I mean, that is fantastic because a mentor will put you several years down the line and ahead of your contemporaries, you understand? So that also talks about the essence of mentorship. And then he says that there are some doors that will never open to you if you use your name. But when they hear the name of some of your mentors, I mean, with all joy, they will answer to you because those people have built a name for themselves. They built a reputation, and you can ride on their wings to get to where you desire to get to. So that is part of the benefits of having a mentor, as already analyzed by Mr. Josiah this evening. And then finally, he talked about the benefits of mentorship, which he highlighted, which I'll just say it helps to build our confidence. It gives us a level of credibility. It gives us an opportunity to have practical advice and support for our practice. And it helps us to learn from their experience. And that's just it. I think that's the most important of it all. So please, if you have questions, you are free to ask. You can drop them in the chat box and we'll attend to you. But in the meantime, we'll proceed. You can drop your questions. Maybe going forward, we'll go over the questions and we'll attend to them as the occasion demands. Yes, Up next is we're proceeding now to the next stage of our presentation as we make welcome a very, very, very vast and seasoned legal practitioner who has also carved a niche for herself. She has a niche for herself and she's doing excellently well in the profession for herself. I'm talking of none other than, is she here with us? Olubusola, she's there. Okay. Please, can you just wave? Let's see you. Okay. Dicky Bob Manuel has joined us. You're most welcome. It's a privilege to have you also with us. That's nice. Yes, Olubusola Ajala is online with us, and she has also done well for herself in the legal profession, and she's going to be taking us on a very fantastic topic. But before we go on, let's look at her profile very briefly. The profile is succulent, like they say, is like a decent girl skirt, short enough to show everything that needs to be shown, and very long enough to cover everything that needs to be covered. So I go straight to read her profile for us. Yes. Busola Ajala is a legal consultant, international conference convener, and a regular speaker at conferences and seminars. Busola has 10 years work experience in multiple industries, including real estate, oil and gas, and telecommunications. As a performance and result-oriented coach, Busola combines both her legal and business expertise in delivering practicable solutions and results to clients. As a lawyer, she is committed to helping entrepreneurs and organizations build sustainable businesses, ensuring that their businesses are legally protected and structured. As a profitable lawyer's coach and the foremost thought leader of the business law concept, she is unrelenting in her pursuit to see lawyers build profitable law practices, as well as change the narratives of both the legal profession and the industry as a whole. She is the founder and director of studies at Strictly Law Business Academy, the premier business academy for lawyers in Nigeria. She is also a strategy and business development consultant, emotional intelligence certified specialist. Busola is a self-led, disciplined, and highly motivated professional, whilst unwavering in the pursuit of her life goals and career aspirations. She is also committed to helping others achieve their desired success and at the same time making high impact contributions to the development of her professional industry. So I present to you Olubusola Ajala as she takes us on in the next session. You're most welcome, ma. Please, you can unmute yourself and let us learn from your wealth of wisdom. Thank you so very much. You're most welcome, ma.
Thank you for having me. Good evening, everyone. I hope we are having a nice time and I hope we've had a beautiful day so far. Please, if you can hear me, just confirm that you can hear me. All right, thank you. Most grateful to my friend Oluwole for inviting me here. Just before I go ahead, I just want to know, can we just state in the comments, I want to know the status of everyone here so that I would know how to properly deliver the value that I have brought to this room this evening. Please, can I know how many of us are new wigs and then those of us who are young lawyers, so that I know, I just want to know, I like to know the status of my audience so I know how to properly, deliver value to us. So please quickly, can we just do that? And I'll be so glad if we can turn on our videos, because they're going to be motivating me to, give so much value, all the value that I have come with from the Strictly Law Business Camp. so that I'll be able to give everything and then I would not hold anything back. So please motivate me by turning on your cameras. Just turn on your cameras. I know we are very beautiful and handsome people here. Olake Bewaji, will be nice and fantastic to see you in person. Oh, awesome, nice. I can see us. Thank you for turning on your cameras. Bomie, I would like to see your camera on. Oh, thank you, everyone. Thank you. Iso Oluwofoyeku, that's a very beautiful name. I used to have a family friend with that son name. I think he used to be a judge or something. So it'll be nice to also see your camera on. Thank you, everyone. We're going to have a fantastic time this evening, but I need you guys to motivate me as well as I'm going to motivate you. Oh, nice. Thank you, everyone. Don't worry, regardless of how you're dressed or wherever you are, just turn on your cameras. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's make this place fun. Let's make this atmosphere fun. Let's get all the knowledge. Let's soak in all the positive energy, and so that we can live here, empowered to run a profitable law practice. Oyilola Olatunji, Busayo, Lonishakin, Imisi Oluwa, please turn on your camera. Farida, please turn on your camera. It'd be nice to see you all. Please, please, please. Adetayo, please turn on your camera. I'm a woman of high energy. I love to have I have high energy. Those who know me know that I come with the fire, the thunder, the energy, right? Okay, so let's get straight into it. This evening I've been asked to talk about business of law, and I purposely did not come with any slides or presentation because I just want to speak, from my heart. I want to speak from my heart. I want us to get value. I want us to know all the beautiful things we can achieve with our law practice. I want us to know the heights we can get to in the law practice. I want us to know that in law practice, you can make money, you can make wealth, you can make millions of money, and you can do all of this legitimately without, cutting corners, without, getting involved in illicit or illegitimate, deals. You can make good money in law practice, and there's actually good money in law practice. So a lot of people would have said things like, some lawyers, their money is not, legit. They don't get good money. They, indulge in money laundering and all of those things. Yeah, that's true for some, but for you, that shouldn't be your reality. Because you need to, if you have all the strategies, if you know all the things you need to know, you'll be able to get, you'll be able to get all that you need to get from law practice. So I just want to know, I was saying at the end, initially that I'd like to know the status of those people here, new week, young lawyer. We still have any other people, any other person. I just want to know, to have like an overview of the number of people we have here. But I'm just going to assume, from my own sanity that, we have new weeks and, young lawyers here. And then if we have even older lawyers, it's fine. Knowledge can be gotten from anywhere. So today I'm going to talk about the business of law. I'm going to start on this premise that, for us who are new weeks and then young lawyers, we all know, that by our training, I'm sure nothing has prepared you for the business aspect of law practice. We are trained to be wonderful practitioners, wonderful lawyers, to teach, to understand the practice and procedure of law, right? So you are trained on, contracts, constitutional law, administrative law, and then when we go to law school, we were trained on the application of all the laws that we have been taught at the university. So you are trained on, how to, make a preliminary objection, how to come by way of originating summons, how to come by writ of summons, and all of those things that were taught, at civil litigation and criminal litigation in law school. Now, fantastic, right, great, fantastic. But then that is not all there is to becoming a lawyer, or that is not all there is to becoming a successful and profitable lawyer. That is not all there is to becoming a successful and profitable lawyer. There is so much more to becoming a successful and profitable lawyer than what we were taught at the law school and university. And I'm here to break it down for us today to help us understand that you can become, as in your law degree is your oyster. You can become anything and everything as long as you're ready to put in the work, right? Now, there is we have the practice of law, which is actually very fantastic and great, but there is the business aspects of law. So I give an example. I used to be, before becoming a lawyer, I used to run a catering business. I had this fantastic, beautiful catering business that I ran for over 10 years. And when I started, the only thing I knew at the time I started my catering business was how to cook, right? As in, I have great culinary skills. Even till date, my friends will still call me to say, oh, come and cook for us. And I no, I don't have that time again, right? But I knew how to cook very, very well. And I thought the only thing I could do with that skill was to just, prepare some course meal for my family. I was, visualizing, thinking of when I would get married, and then I'll cook some course meal for my husband, my children, my extended family. I mean, that was all I had, But then I got, it dawned on me one day that, that I could, monetize these skills, that I can monetize this skill, this catering skill that I have, that I can monetize it to get money. And then I started thinking of how I can start my catering business. Now, when I started my catering business, I got a lot of support from home, right? Oh, God bless my grandparents and my mom. They're all in heaven now. So, but I got a whole lot of support from them, from my aunties and all. And so I was using the gas cooker in the house. The driver would take me for market runs. He would take me to deliver. I just had a lot of, things, facilities, equipment, even ingredients, cooking ingredients that I would use from the house. I would use the salt in the house. I would use the Maggi. I would use the oil, everything, just to, do my catering business. And then about 6 or 3 months down the line, I think about 3 months, because by the third week when I started, I'd made, a good turnover. I'd made a good turnover. So I was like, whoa, this is good business, there's money, right? We are doing this catering business. And then by the time my family realized that, okay, I think that Busolato's business is suspicious, is stable enough to run itself. We're going to withdraw our support. So the driver will no longer take you for market runs. You have to get a taxi, a cab that's going to take you. You will no longer use things from the house. You're going to buy your own thing. You buy your own gas. You do this, you will do that. Wow. And trouble started. And then I thought that my village people were after me. I said, oh, village people, oh, they are here, oh, they have come for me, oh, help me, oh, save me. But it was until I had a challenge, I had to now go back to the drawing board. And I realized that I was only equipped with the knowledge of cooking. I only had the culinary skills. I could only cook. I didn't know how to sell. I didn't know how to do my cost analysis. I didn't understand the financial aspects. I didn't understand the business aspects of catering. I only knew the technical skills, which is, ability to cook, the time you're supposed to put in the oil, the time you put in the Maggi, the time you would do this. I knew all of those techniques. I had all of those techniques, but I didn't understand or know how to properly package the business in terms of sales, marketing, branding, cost analysis, So it was then I had to start asking people. And I'm glad that the last speaker spoke about mentoring. It was then I had to go and look for seniors within the industry to teach me. And they began to ask me questions like, Osola, how do you, when you go to deliver to your clients, do you charge them for delivery separately? I said, no. Okay, so when you go and serve meals, at the party and all of that, do you charge them separately for that service? I said, no. Do you charge them for your equipment that they use at their party? I said, no, I don't charge for that. And I said, therein lies your problem. Therein lies the challenge, because you are just, you're just charging for a part of the service you are rendering. You are not charging for the entire services you are rendering. So that made me realize that I understood the technical aspects of catering, which is how to cook, but I didn't understand the business aspect of catering. Does that make sense? Are we following? Please, I like my class to be interactive. So I would want you to drop comments in the chat box. I like my class to be interactive. Please, I like my class to be interactive. So please drop comments in the chat box so that I know that you are following me and that you are getting value. Right. So I said, so they said that's the problem. That's where the problem is. That's where the problem is. And then I realized also that because I was using facilities from the house, right? Because I was using facilities from the house, I was not doing my costing very well. I wasn't doing my costing very well. I was not charging based on my costs. I was charging based on, the things I bought. So let me break it down. I'm sure some of you would have done CAC registration for clients, or if you have not done, maybe you would get to do. Now, so a client comes to meet you and say, I want to register my company. And you know that the official price, right, is the official fee, the official cost that you will pay to CAC to get that business registered. Maybe a business name, let's use a business name. So let's say the official cost for registering a business name at CAC, everything you will pay in terms of filing, in terms of search, everything you will pay to CAC. Let's assume that it is, maybe 20,000, right? 20,000 is all the official cost that you will pay to CAC. And then you now say, 20,000 is what it will cost, right, officially. I will charge this client 30,000. Also, 30,000 is going to be my profit. Oh, fantastic! I have a good profit, right? And so you will say you will charge 50,000 naira, right? Now, what you have failed to realize is that 30,000 naira that you think is your profit is not your entire profit. Now, from that 30,000 naira, let's assume that you go to CAC. Now we know that you don't have to go to CAC again to do your business to get your registration done. Yes, we know you don't have to go to CAC again to get your registration done. But let's assume that you're going to transport yourself to CAC. You would check your transportation fee from that 30,000 naira. If you're going to upload using data, you're going to upload, so you will have to buy data. You would deduct money for the data from it. When the certificate is out and you're going to send it to the client, you will deduct money from the 30,000 naira. So at the end of the day, when you have deducted all deductibles, maybe you'll be left with just 5,000 naira. From that 30,000 that you assumed is your profit, you will now be wondering that, how come? What happened? I've been maybe, let's say you got maybe like 5 CAC briefs of such nature, and you have calculated 30 times 5 is 150. And at the end of the day, you are having just maybe 25,000 naira with you, and you're wondering, how am I having 25,000 naira? I thought I was supposed to have 150. Where did all this money go? The money didn't go anywhere. Village people to do your pricing. Are we following? You didn't factor your cost into your pricing. So what you are supposed to do is, before giving anybody any fee, you're supposed to do your cost analysis. What is it going to cost me? Official fee and unofficial fee. Unofficial fee will include logistics like transportation, like phone calls, like transportation, phone calls, photocopying, data, all of those things. They are unreceipted costs. You won't get receipts for all of those things, but they are costs that you will incur in delivering that services to the clients. So you will need to factor in all of those costs before you charge the clients. Add the costs to the official cost of registering a business. before you will now then put your own professional fee. So in billing a client, you are billing a client based on your professional fees. One, your costs, and then the official costs. So that way, at the end of the day, you are not going to touch your professional fee. Your professional fee is for you. The cost of rendering that service has to be borne by the client. But unfortunately, these are the things we are not taught. So understanding billing, understanding pricing, understanding cost analysis is very critical and important in your law practice. And that's part of what we call the business aspects of law. I know a lot of us, some of us, so let me say, some of us are in law practice because we don't really understand the maths. We have problems with numbers and figures. But I need to tell you, if you want to be profitable and do well in this law practice, you need to understand figures. You need to like figures. You need to be familiar with figures. You need to understand numbers, because that's what is going to help you. So you need to understand your numbers. You need to understand figures. You need to become very comfortable with money. Start having money conversations. Having money conversations is very, very critical. Do not be shy. I mean, I was speaking, somebody, was going to wanted me to do something for her. And I had to ask the person, because the person is an acquaintance. I had to, it was kind of tough for me too, right? Also, learning to get comfortable having money conversations. I had to ask the person, are you ready to pay for the service? Are you ready to pay for the service? It was a tough one for me, but I learned. So she was like, yes, I want to pay for the service. So I said, okay, good. Because it's established that you want to pay for the service. Now, this is the cost. This is what it will cost you if you want me to provide the service. And she was like, oh, I don't have that amount. I said, I'm sorry, I can't help you. I can't help you. So we need to be comfortable asking for money. Don't be shy. Don't allow anybody, tell you that, oh, you are money conscious. I mean, you went to school. Anytime anybody tells you are money conscious, think about the investments that went into you, how you became a lawyer. The last time I paid for somebody's law school fees was about 3 years ago, and I paid about 300,000. I don't know what the amount is now. So I know that it is quite expensive going into law school. Even university, for those who went to private university, even the state universities they're not cheap these days. So when anybody tells you that you are money conscious, tell them how much it costs you to become a lawyer. And that's why you need to recoup it. You need to recoup your investment. So what I'm trying to say is that become comfortable having money conversations. Become comfortable charging for your services. Now, talking about billing. Next thing I want to talk about is marketing and sales. So you see organizations, they have the business development department, they have the marketing and sales department, they have the communication department. Why do they have all this? So you see a Llmp, or MTN, several organizations, even the bank also, they have different units. For MTN or Llmp, what do? Their core service or their core operation is selling recharge cards. That is what they do. They sell recharge cards. After all, we buy our recharge cards from them. We buy from the recharge card, then we subscribe to get our data. So that's what they do. But we provide network services. That is packaging. What they do is that they sell recharge cards, right? Now, but they're not just selling recharge cards, but they don't only have a recharge card department. They don't have only a recharge card department. They have a legal department. They have human resource department. They have the finance department. They have the business development department. They have the marketing department. They have sales department. They have brand communication department. They have strategy department. They have all manner of departments. Now, it is the embodiment of all these departments that makes it Llmp or that makes it MTN, because they can't only have a recharge card department. That will not be enough to get them to where they are today. Imagine when MTN came to Nigeria, they were only selling recharge cards. They didn't package themselves, or they didn't have a marketing department, or they didn't have a distribution channel, or they didn't have, retailers, channel that would help them, that would ensure that the recharge card gets to every nook and crannies of Nigeria. Do you think they would have risen to where they are now? MTN will say everywhere you go. Now, everywhere you go, you see MTN, right? But imagine that they didn't have all those units that I have mentioned in place. Will they be where they are now? Or would they even be able to say everywhere you go? Now, what am I saying in essence? You don't only need your legal knowledge. You don't only need to understand legal. You also need to understand how to market yourself as a lawyer. You need marketing, you need sales to promote yourself. And I'm going to come to this area. I'm going to address this issue of RPC. A lot of us talk about RPC, especially for those of us that are fresh out of law school. I'm sure you'd have heard, ethics, in the ethics, teaching. They would have talked about, you must not do ambulance chasing. You must not visit your clients. You must not be seen at your client's house. Hello. I'm here to tell you that if you want to succeed, if you want to get good money, and you want to make your mark in this legal industry, I would not encourage you to start going to test your clients or to lick their ass or to become a servant to your clients. No. But I would say that you have to make sure that you are properly positioned. You are right in the faces of your clients and your potential clients. They need to know you. They need to know you. They need to know you. Top of mind awareness is very important, such that when they are thinking of, a lawyer who is going to render a service to them, whether or not it's within your core practice area, your name comes first. They say, let's talk to Mr. Lowo for you. Maybe you'll be able to handle that for us. And if it is something you can handle, fantastic. If it is not, you can make a recommendation, or you can even subcontract, and you make money from that subcontracting. But for you to be able to get to that point where you become top of mind awareness to your clients, you need to market yourself. You need to promote yourself. RPC allows you to do that. If you read the section 39, rule 39 very well, you will see that it says a lawyer can promote himself subject to the following conditions. So it's those exceptions you have to master very well and ensure that you are not in contravention of those exceptions. But anybody that tells you that you cannot promote yourself or put yourself out there as a lawyer, the person is not saying the truth. Section 30, Rule 39. Rule 39 of RPC allows us to promote ourselves. So having said that, you need to understand that marketing is very, very important. Putting yourself out there, ensuring that people know you, that you gain top of mind awareness is very, very important. You need to do that. You need to learn that. And a lot of things you can learn about marketing. There are books you can read. There are YouTube videos you can watch. A lot of things you need to, to understand how to get clients, how to attract clients, client acquisition strategy, client acquisition, client retention strategy. All of those things you need to understand it. Right. So marketing, sales also, how do you sell? How do you sell yourself? Understanding that, knowing that what we sell as lawyers is intangible. Like, so our services as a lawyer, you can't feel it, you can't touch it, you can't see it, right? You can't even hold it. You can only experience it. And the only way you can experience it is after that service has been delivered and you see the value, you see the impact. That's the only way you can experience it. So how then do you sell yourself, or you sell your value to the clients? How do you communicate your value to the client in a way that the client understands and has the trust or confidence that you will deliver? So you must understand how to communicate your value, how to sell yourself. How to communicate your value, how to sell yourself is very, very important in this business. And one of the ways in which you can sell yourself is branding. Branding, personal branding. It is very, very important. In this profession, you cannot afford to be perceived anyhow. You cannot afford to be perceived anyhow. You have to own your story. Do not let anybody tell your story for you. Because if somebody is telling your story for you, they'll be telling it from their own perspective. And that perspective may not be the true, it may not be the correct version of your story. It may not even be the truth. So you need to constantly promote yourself, to tell your own story yourself. And you do that through personal branding. Having a brand is very, very important. Branding is very important. The way you communicate, the way you speak, the way you present yourself is very, very important. You must be known for one thing. And I tell people that, I tell lawyers that you need to be known for one thing, right? You can be doing everything, you can be doing everything, right? You can be doing everything. But when it comes to branding, there must be a particular thing that you are known for. So Olubusola Ajala is synonymous with business of law. That is established. Olubusola Ajala is synonymous with business of law. Does that mean that I do not do other things? I do other things. I do other things. But what I want to be known for, most, business of law. So you need to decide what you want to be known for. You can't afford to be a general practitioner. General practice, yes, okay, this one comes today, you make money from it, that one comes today, you make money from it. But you will not be able to command so much in terms of respect and in fees if you are just a general practitioner, because people will assume that you do not have an in-depth knowledge of that practice area. So you need to brand yourself and be known for a particular thing. Maybe 2, 3 practice areas, fantastic. It doesn't mean that you cannot take other briefs when they come. You can take it. But when it comes to being known, putting yourself out there, do not be known as a general practitioner. Also, it's also, comes with branding. You're well branded, you're well positioned. It's very, very important. When I was talking about marketing, I didn't talk about visibility. I love to talk about visibility very well. Visibility is very important. You can't afford to keep quiet in this industry, especially in this age of social media. You have to constantly put yourself out there. It is those that are known that will be given jobs. If you are not known, nobody's going to give you a job, because they will not be able to determine your abilities and capability. So people need to know you. They need to know what you can do, this value that you bring to the table. Please, can you mute yourself, Ngozi, or please can we have the organizers mute her? Ngozi and Honor Francis. Please. So it's important that you are well known, you are visible, and top of mind awareness when it comes to this particular area that we are practicing. You want to major in. Rather, when it comes to the particular area you want to major in, you must have top of mind awareness. You must be visible. You must be visible. Everybody must be able to. They must know you, such that when they even call your name, they say, "Oh yeah, this is what she does." So visibility is very important, and visibility helps you. It will help you to be known. It will help you to be liked. It will help you to be liked, and it will help you to be trusted. When people like you, they will give you jobs. When they like you, they will give you a job. But they can only like you when they know you and they know the value that you can deliver. So do not keep quiet. You cannot afford to say, I'm shy. You're shy? Why are you in law? You can't afford to say you are shy. So you must be known. You must be in people's faces every day. In 2017, I set out I had a goal. And my goal for 2017 then was that I want to be known. And so what did I do? I started writing every day, Monday to Friday. So what I am doing now, this month I've gotten 2 or 3 invites to speak, right? And I'm telling myself that yesterday I still got another invite. This morning I got another invite. And I'm telling myself that I don't want to talk again. I want to also focus on growing my own business. So I'm not taking more invites, right? So, but how am I able to attract all of these opportunities? It is because at a point in time in my life, I said I want to be known, and I want to be known for this particular thing, this particular area. And so Mondays to Fridays, I was writing on Facebook. Then I moved to LinkedIn. I was writing, and I not only wrote on my Facebook. Then fortunately I got people who loved what I wrote, and from everything I wrote for a particular week, they published it on their blog. And then I started getting invites. Come and speak, come and train, come and do this, come and do that. Just because I just took a particular decision, saying I want to be known, and then I started writing. That's the easiest way, fastest way for you to get known. Writing, video, podcast. Writing, video, podcast. If you think you cannot write, if you are good at speaking, go into podcast or videos. You will be well, and if you do that consistently every day for 30 days, if you do that consistently every day for 30 days, you will be known. People will know you, they will recognize you. So that's one way for you to be able to be known. And then when they know you, they will like you, they will give you jobs. Because people, when you love someone, you'll be concerned about that person. You would want to see the person prosper. You want to see the person do well. So you say if there's any opportunity, you give it to the person. So when they know you, they like you, and they trust you. KLT factor. It's called the KLT factor in visibility. You must be known, you must be liked, you must be trusted. You must be known, you must be liked, you must be trusted. So that's where it's going to be very easy for you to make your mark and to make good profit in law practice. So I talked about branding, visibility, billing, specialization. Specialization is also very important, which I've also briefly talked about. You can't be a general practitioner. You have to be known for one thing. You have to pick your area of specialization, and you have to ensure that the area you are picking is something that aligns with your interest and your personality. It's very, very important. You must align with your interest and your personality. You have a lot of knowledge in that area, and you are ready to go all out in that area. So it's very important to build specialization. Take courses if you need to. See, I'm going to say one thing here, which may sound very controversial. If you are thinking of doing masters as a young lawyer or a new week, please bury that thought. bury that thought and focus on getting enough knowledge and experience. I am 10 years post-call and I do not have masters. But I can tell you that I've taken several other courses that have aided and, that has aided my growth. Masters is very good. Areas, all of these small units that comes together to make your law practice profitable. So it's not enough to say, oh, I can argue my cases. I made the first class. I made a 2-1. I know the law. I understand the procedure. You must understand the business aspects. You must get yourself into. You must build a business acumen. Build a business mindset. Redefine your mindset. A lot of people, I know people have said, oh, law practice is very difficult to make money. Your principal will pay you peanuts. Your principals will not pay very well. I started earning money from law practice before I became a lawyer. I started making money from law practice before I became a lawyer. So you must, I'm saying this so that you understand that you must develop a business mindset to law practice. Develop a business mindset. If you are the type that you don't really understand it, throw yourself into a community that they daily talk or daily have conversations about business of law, about business. Start looking for network of finance people that you can always have interactions with. Start looking for, platforms where they talk about business of law. The only platform they talk about business of law is SLB community. I am in a lot of lawyers platform. Nobody really talks about business of law. In SLB community, we don't do anything law practice. We talk only about business of law. Because we've gotten a lot of knowledge from law school, university, MBA keeps doing, on continuing legal education course on the other. There are a lot of other, platforms or community that they talk about legal practice. But in SLB community, I am about one thing. I'm about ensuring lawyers understand business and they are able to build profitable law practice. So the only thing we talk about is business of law. And all of these things that I've mentioned, we have treated them in one way or the other. We have several webinars, videos addressing client acquisition strategy. How do you attract clients? How do you know, what language do you communicate when you're speaking with a client? How can you get clients? How can you, get the right set of clients? There are clients, there are clients. So all of these things are things that, accumulate to help you enjoy or build a profitable law practice. Can't exhaust all of the conversation here, but I think the little I've said, you must have gotten some value from it, and I'll be ready to take any questions if you have. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Busola. It's so nice to hear from you and have you talk to us this evening. We are so sorry we have to just take the second speaker now. I don't know if Busola will still be with us so that we could take the question and answer sections together, because you've actually spoken on some of the things that I know that the second speaker will also address. You'll be speaking on creating visibilities for yourself as young lawyers. So please, if you permit me, Busola, just stay with us, share the fellowship with us while we introduce the second speaker, and then we take the question and answer together.
All right, that's fine.
All right, thank you very much. Over to you, Mr. Ebenezer.
All right, thank you so very much. This session has really been loaded, and I turned to a teleprompter. I just discovered that my hand kept running. I wanted to write down in my notes, but I discovered that if I'm writing in my notes, to put it up here may be a bit difficult. So I just said, okay, let's just have it so that for the people who are joining us in there, they can go through the notes. And I didn't know I could be this fast in writing, and it's all good. Busola, thank you so very much. This session has really been very rich, and just like the host said, please do stay with us while we take the next speaker. So our next speaker is the person of Mr. Akin Olawale Oluwadaisi. He is a researcher and consultant and arbitrator and notary public. He's a lecturer at the Faculty of Law at Adekunle Ajasin University, Akungba, Ondo State. And there he teaches public international law, constitutional law, and company law. He has his LLB honors in law with second-class upper from Adekunle Ajasin University, Ondo State, and at the Nigerian Law School. He was admitted to practice law in Nigeria in 2009. And he has his LLM degree and PhD in law from the University of Ilorin. He founded the Benacle Consulting, a law firm dedicated to legal research, training, and consultancy. He has published articles of contemporary legal issues in both local and international journals and delivered papers at international conferences. He is the editor of essays titled Electoral Law Reforms and Constitutionalism in Nigeria. He's the co-editor of essays titled Contemporary Issues on Labor Law, Employment, and National Industrial Court Practice and Procedures. He also authored the precedent books titled Sample Drafts for Lawyers. I'm sure for every one of us who have passed through the law school, you must have come across this book. And the book has really been of good use to us as a whole. So he's a fellow of the Center of Comparative Law in Africa, University of Cape Town, South Africa, fellow of the Institute of Policy Management and Development, is a member of the Nigerian Association of Law Teachers, is a member of the Nigerian Bar Association, and is also a member of the International Association of Legal Ethics and Professional Bodies. And I mean, the icing on the cake is that he is happily married with children. So I present to you Mr. Akin Olawale Oluwadaisi as he takes us on a journey. Thank you so very much for agreeing to speak to us. Please kindly unmute yourself as you take us on this journey. We are really grateful to have you here.
A very good evening to everyone in the house. It's a rare privilege to be here to engage us and for us to engage ourselves on the topic increasing your visibility as a young lawyer. I appreciate Mr. Ebenezer very well for that introduction. But you need to also add that the speaker is a gentle man and a child of God.
And his voice shows it.
We are also, by God's grace, ministers at the Temple of Justice and also at the Temple of God. So having said that, I want to welcome everyone here. I want to congratulate you for being part of this great and very innovative idea put up by my dear brother Oluwole Olatunde, who is hosting us today. I also count it as a privilege. I've learned quite a lot now from my dear sister Olubusola Ajala, my learned friend and colleague, because there's no female in the legal profession. I've added certain things to what I know about marketing. And let me say 99.9, I was just nodding my head as she was talking. And these were part of things I would have probably loved to even tell anyone any young lawyer in the legal profession. Many of us got to know early because we're close to mentors. But many young lawyers today are still practicing because they are in the legal profession to do pro bono service. The mentality that got them into law when they were reading it until now is still pro bono, and they are still managing to parent. They still want to help the poor. Meanwhile, the legal profession can help. You can help the poor at the same time you make your money. But the helping of the poor is still the major thing why some people are in the legal profession, and it's the reason why some people are still, looking for how to pay house rent. So this seminar, this kind of, knowledge impartation from Olubusola Ajala is one that many lawyers need to get to know so that they can get out of the hook and other, limitations that some senior lawyers, are put them into. Having said all that, to address increasing your visibility as a lawyer or a young lawyer for that matter. And I like to say that as it regards visibility, it's actually not an area of law that I'm a specialist or expert in. Perhaps the host didn't feel for me to share my experience because it has to do with those who are experts in the social media. But at least we'll be able to share a few of our experiences so that we can learn from there. But before I go into that, I like to say that before, as a legal practitioner, you are first seen, you must first be unseen. I will explain what I mean. When we talk about visibility, we are talking about being seen, isn't it? Being known, being recognized, being famous in the legal profession so that you can attract those you need to attract, the high and the low. But before we get there at all, that may not be the topic for today, but if I don't mention it before I go into the real topic, then it's like I'm building something upon nothing. So this is the foundation. The foundation is that as a young lawyer, you must first be unseen. There is a place where you are not seen. That place is called the place of preparation. That place is the place of the making. I call it the place of preparation, the place of making. For example, someone cannot just come into the public and start speaking about the topic and start saying something if he had not done like a research, or he has not gone through a training, or he has not done something that will now make him to come out to say, this is what I want to say. So sometimes you may see a lot of lawyers who want to be seen or they want to become visible, but the question is that what are you going to showcase? What are you going to expose to the public? What will people read of you, or what will they see of you? Those things are things that you have done in the place of unseen, the place of preparation, and the place of your making. So that is very important. And in the place of your making, that is where you talk about hard work. That is where you talk about excellence. That is where you talk about focus in a line or a special line of business where you become undisputed, you become what we call the only boat on the sea. The only boat on the sea. When you see a boat or a ship that is only on the sea, there is no other ship that is competing that, oh, I'm running a race. We are going to Canada. We are going to this. We are going to that together. And they are competing on the sea. The sea is so wide that your own ship is only more or less the only ship in the whole world until you reach your destination. And everybody has to just fall into your ship if they want to get to that destination. That is the place of distinction. So that must come even where people are not there. people are not seeing you, you are preparing yourself. You know, whether in the line of expertise in the area of law, whether if it has to do with research in your area of discipline, maybe, for example, in a particular area of law. So, and if it is practice, if it is even criminal aspect of litigation, there is a particular aspect of criminal that more or less only you or just few. So when they mention, we're talking about criminal aspect, this area, somebody will say, will call your name. Let me give you an example. There was a time not too long ago, I was looking for somebody who is consistent in the area of labor law. And it took months to get not just a senior lawyer, but to get any lawyer at all, whether a junior lawyer or the one in the middle, like is consistent in the area of law, of labor law. I mean, constantly have cases or goes, Barrister Latunde will bear me witness, like one or two occasions I asked him about that if he knows someone. And I've also inquired. And we're looking. We couldn't get. They called some practitioners to the bench of National Industrial. All of them had no record of cases done on labor law. And okay, the option they gave to them was that, okay, if you don't have this, tell us if you have published something in this area. And they were ready to give even young ones in that area because they needed that. Something that will impress them that this person is with us. He's been working on this area. And you can see, that is exactly what we are talking about. So that will come first. Before somebody will now say, I want to be visible, I want to be seen. You must first be unseen in the area of, in the aspect of preparing yourself in a particular area or line, so that when you are called upon in that area and say, oh, we need you for this, and people will say, oh, we know him. We know him, that is it. He's a specialist in that area. We know him, he has been working. You become uncontested. And there are times that even your position is so open that nobody can fill that gap because they don't have what it takes. They are not preparing towards that. So I must mention that before I now talk about how a young lawyer can become visible. The first thing that I have to talk about is the area of you publishing. Publishing, strictly speaking, talking about journals, writing articles, like some of us in the academic world, it's one way by which you become popular. I went for an interview, or you become famous and then visible. I give an example. I went for an interview at the University of Ife, and 5 people were to interview. On the lineup of the interview, professors, people that I have not seen in my life before. You know what happened? Because of writing. One of them, a professor now, have been chatting with me. We've been discussing on an area of research, right? Me being a very young and junior lecturer, I'm still very young and junior. We discussed and we had to collaborate together. I championed that research. And right now, as we speak, whether on Scholar or a Google Scholar or on ResearchGate, that particular research has given a very high index, not just in Nigeria, all over the world. And people have been calling for that article from Australia, from all parts of the world. This professor teamed up with me, we did the research together, and I got to know him for the first time on that, at that panel. And come to think of it, something happened. When the person leading the interview got to the point of publication, he asked that they should start reading my publication one after the other. And that publication was like the 3rd or the 4th one. Immediately they mentioned that publication, they read the name of that other professor sitting on that panel with him. I said, that is a so person. I'm talking about Great Ife, Faculty of Law. And the man said, have you seen the person interviewing me asked me, have you seen him before? This man, this other person? I said, I know he works here. We've been chatting, we've been discussing, but we have never met face to face. We've been doing our research online. And then we've been talking. And the man said, that is him there. They are not proceeding. I just said, let me finish my interview before I come to see you. One, they said, that article has been widely publicized. Two, I didn't come there to seek favor that, this man we are publishing together, use your influence so that I can come in. The person that was the head of the interview was so impressed. And he said, even me, having not come to Ife before, I've not even seen them before, but already I've been before them. So your write-up can cut across, not just in Nigeria, even anywhere, that tomorrow you may travel abroad and you are somewhere addressing the public, talking about something on an issue like this, or you're addressing, even on webinar, and you mention your name, and somebody will say, come, are you the writer of so article? It means you are already visible beyond the shores of Nigeria. So your publication can get you that. And it's not only when you do it yourself, you may even edit someone else's work. And the person, for me, for example, if anybody is part of what I do, whether by editorial, I acknowledge them. That acknowledgement alone, when people see, that this person was part of this work, or this person did this and that, and his name is seen on the wall, that also will go a long way to make you seen, known, and visible. So you can't edit, you can't do publishing by yourself. You can also review for people. And someone will ask me, how do I do that? I'm not a lecturer. I'm not, good at writing. I tell you, one, there are so many journals that are not even academic journals. What I mean by they are academic but are not situated within the university that you have access to. Gravitas Review was one of the first journals I published. And when I published in that journal, I just published. I mean, I was not just for my promotion, of course, but I never knew that where the journal could get to. I got to know of the importance, the fame of the article I wrote in that journal. How? Because somebody else saw it somewhere. In fact, I started calling that. He saw the articles on, I see Gravitas Review. He said it's online. That I should just help him. He's doing research. So you see how Gravitas Review, by virtue of that article, took me out of Nigeria and made someone somewhere to begin to ask, who is this person? I need to contact him. So your publication, your write-up can do that for you. And there are many that we have that you can be part of, through which, and if you recall, in our ROPC, from Rule 39 to Rule 46, I think about one of the rules there talks about publication as an exception, as an exception to you publicizing yourself. So when you do that publication, you are publicizing yourself in an acceptable manner to the rules. You can put in all the titles you have in this world. You have written that article and people recognize it. So as such, you can get known. And like my learned colleague earlier said, through your write-up, I can tell you that your visibility comes majorly through what you have written. Because when people read them, then they get back to you and say, I want to see this person who have written this. This is the problem that I have. So that is that. Then in connection with that, or in addition to this, is writing blogs or articles. This time, not really the formal article, not the formal one now, the informal articles. There's just a topic in the legal profession, or there's a topic in in the country that is an issue, and then there's a legal aspect of it that you can address, and you quickly come with a two-page article, and then you begin to discuss it and get to share it, whether through blog or through, before you know it, it can go a long way to fetch you your visibility. So blogs and article. Then another one is the social media space, which is what is open to everybody everywhere. And many of us are not making use of this. You know, for example, my wife is also getting into the legal profession, so we discuss issues. We discuss things that has to do with the legal stuff. And I was telling her, I said, for everyone now, not just only the businessmen, those who are doing buying and selling, everyone, even including professors, the social media now is your shop. The social media now is your first office. You can even decide to close office one day and say, I'm not going to office today. My office today is going to be my phone. And you will be surprised at what will happen. Even productivity, the visibility we talk about, and you maximize it, but then you also need to learn. When I went through a small training on how to use phone, I never knew phone could do what, you know, the expert taught us. I only know of little things that the phone can do, but he explored the various unexplored aspect of this phone, of these Android phones, and what they can do in terms of making you to be visible. And on that line, let me quickly point our attention, or let me quickly clear an issue. Like my colleague was saying something the other time. Please don't be afraid of the ROPC or what the ROPC is saying as regards advertisement. One of the person that was instrumental to the drafting of the ROPC has said over and over again, that's the Professor Ernest Ojukwu, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, that we misconstrue and misunderstand the ROPC. And oftentimes he asks this question, does the ROPC say you should not do business? The ROPC does not say you should not do business. I mean, you should not do advertisement, sorry, not business. Advertisement. The ROPC only prohibits certain advertisement that, by virtue of the rule, is not acceptable, but not generally. So even the prohibition is a exception to the rule, not the rule itself. The day he spoke about it, I went back to read the first part of the rule on advertisement from Rule 39. That was when I now got this, oh, that is true. The lawyer shall not do this type of advertisement, not all time, this very one. There are others you can do that are permissible. So on social media space, so far you are not comparing your business with others. You are not showing that you are just within the confines of the rules. You can still do your advertising. Otherwise, like a few days ago, I was searching. I wanted to get some addresses of some of the Senior Advocate of Nigeria. I fell back to social media. And while I was getting the addresses, I was asking myself, I said, oh, but these senior people, they're already there. They're already there telling us, you know, the addresses and how they can be reached. And some of us who are juniors, we want our small address to be there. Even our pictures, when it's there, somebody is talking and then we are removing it. But here are people putting there, not just on their website. I'm not talking about their website, other people's blogs. I mean, other platforms that are not their own sites. They're using it as a way to get themselves known and famous and visible. So these are the things. And we young ones, we have the knowledge, we have the skill, we are agile, we even know how to do it, but some, maybe because of the fear. So social media has come to stay. And we still continue to be a platform by which anyone can be visible. WhatsApp, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and all that. And I want to tell you one way by which you can do that. I will link it up with another point that has to do with sharing knowledge online. Sharing knowledge. I want to link it up with these social media platforms. And what is it about? The other council, my learned friend, my learned colleague mentioned something about that. Write something that somebody can benefit from, that is free. As a publisher, as an author, as a lecturer in the university, I tell people, I don't publish because I want to publish. And that's what makes me maybe different. I publish because I ask, what are people asking for? What are the students demanding? What is the demand in the market? A lot of people want to just give out what they have. Oh, I like it. I like this area of conflict of law. Oh, I like this area of family law. Let me write something on it. The question is that how many people are going to read you on family law? How many people? How many? How many people will read your article on family law? Then compare it with somebody right now that is already writing on a topical issue. A topical issue, maybe in the area of public and constitutional, maybe in the area of business that we are talking about. As I want to, or property. So that is what will make you to be famous. You look at the demand in the market space, both client-wise, and then see how you can certify, and then share it freely. Let people get to benefit from it. Before you know it, they will start looking for, of course, your contact is there, your email is there, you start receiving briefs, and you become famous. By the time the professor who wrote something on family law, and you that have written on something, you just discover that your likes, the sharing and everything, how they share your stuff, everything will increase in number. So that's a very important thing. Write something, even if it is one in a week. On a blog, there are so many blogs that needs people to even write. There is one, for example, that had come to me and said, I should look for people who can write well. He is going to pay something for it. And your name, you have the copyright. So your name is flying everywhere and you're earning for writing for that blog. The essence is that that person too needs a track of people on his website. So that by sharing that knowledge, people will start coming to that site, then it will sell. It will make his money. It pays you. Then you too, when they read you. They are not only reading the article, they are reading the name. Oh, it's written by this person. The email is there. So if they have something further, they contact you. So share knowledge and share experience on social media space. It has come and has become a platform that everybody must explore if you want to be famous. I tell my colleagues in the academics and even lawyers alike, I say, whatever you have done, bring it out of the shelf. That's my language. Bring it out of the shelf. If there is anything you are not taking home today, take this home. Bring it out of the shelf. For example, we did a work in 2019, far back in 2019, published in India. And I told my professor, I said, we did this work. We cannot afford this work to just lie on the shelf like that. We are putting labor. Bring this thing out of the shelf. Make noise about it. Whatever little talent, knowledge, or anything, publicize it. There is no law against that. Even in the rule, you are permitted that if you have done a publication, make it known. Let people know about it. Before you know it, you may even get an international connection. Somebody did the work, presented it, and by the time she presented that work, on the day of presentation, a UN agency attended that occasion. And as we speak now, she's on the permanent list of facilitator to any UN conference or workshop that has to do with procurement, because she wrote and did research on it. She's always there. Is now a UN, more or less, she has a permanent work in the university, but they did research in that area. But if that research is kept in the shelf, nobody knows about it, no publicity, no social media, how would the UN nation know that somebody did something somewhere? There are so many, how many countries do we have in the whole world? Are you the only writer? Are you the only breeder person? Are you the only, bring it out. Nobody else will bring it out for you if you don't showcase yourself. The little you know in that area of practice, people, the next person must get to hear about it. And that way, you become visible. Then another thing is conference participation. Attend conferences as much as you can. From there, you get to interact with people. You may even ask a question, maybe in one of the MBA conference, for example. It's not only MBA, but let me use MBA as an example. You may ask a question, you may raise a poster, and the professors and the SA are looking at you. After service, say, give me what's your number? Where do you practice? I love that question you raised at that time, blah, blah, blah. I'm thinking about, before you know it, you can get your connectivity, you can get your being visible. They can, such organization, such person can project you further. So conferences allows you to meet and mingle with people that can further project your visibility. And you don't go to conference and just be roaming around when there is need for you to be in the hall or in a particular session where you should be there to project yourself. You can't just go to conference and spend any money. Spend the whole money for conference just to go and visit or collect bags. No, you must come out with something that will further add to the value or to your firm or to whatever you are doing. That's my target. Every time I go to conference, I have a target for it. So that when I'm coming back, I know that there are things that I'm going to work upon further that will help my work, my area, my research or whatever, so that before you know it, another thing is coming out good for me from that conference. And that's why I've gone there to pay. If there are so many things that we learn in conferences that you can even learn it without even these days on virtual, you learn it through your connectivity on Zoom. But why do you go there physically? It's because of some of these things. People you can't see on a normal day, you can walk up to them after they have delivered their lecture and then begin the talk for the next phase. So it will help you to become visible. Then voluntary and pro bono litigation. Yes, even though this one is not just like everything that you are doing. So because you need to feed the stomach and you need to take care of your home. If you are married, of course, if you are not, you need to pay rent and you need to look good and plan for the future. But there are few that you may need to do. Let me give you an example. The only criminal case I've taken so far, that case was against IGP. And you can guess the caliber of set of police that were detailed to to prosecute the case. And I was the only lawyer on the other side. And that case got me exposed. And that case was pro bono. Father, a driver of a private school, earning less than 10,000. Mother cannot even use, according to my parents, they can't use a bottle to write O. But I took it upon myself. Before you know it, the case that was pro bono, on the other side, they got to know. And before you know it, something else come, not directly from the person that I was defending, because there was no money coming from it, but from people that got to know about the case. I say, Akin, you're the one defending this case. Before you know it, I became more visible than in the university where I was, because of the caliber of people involved, the company involved. There was an airline company that was part of the case from the prosecution side, and so on. I also know of someone who happens to be a mentor. I won't have to mention his name. He got to become a permanent retainer of Nigerian Army today. How? Because of a pro bono case and threatening this person, and let me say they cheated him, and he just felt like, I want to help this person. The manner in which he handled that case and said, even we fall, we will defend this case. Because you are army, it does not mean you can do or not do. Far back then, I mean, we're talking about something that is close to 2 decades now. And after the case got to a level almost concluded, the head then said, we need to go and, if our own lawyer is not doing fine, and this other lawyer that is not collecting anything can do this thing like this, I think this is the type of lawyer that should be on our side. And that was it. Till today, permanent retainer, Nigerian. Visibility by pro bono. Pro bono. When he was doing it, he didn't have intention of having gain. So there are certain cases, even technically, when you see them, you can know that because of the people involved in this case, even if this man does not have money, I will do it. You never can tell tomorrow who will get involved and say, we want to see the lawyer in charge. And you can bear me witness that some lawyers, senior lawyers, senior advocates in this nation, the name, Barrister Femi or Femi Falana, SCA, they will shout their name. Quite a number of them, that it was the pro bono case they took and stuck in their head that we will do this case, that made them popular. Some of them, so some of us can also get into that if we want to become visible. And I also want to mention, I'm rounding up now, the second to the last, voluntary national contribution. My first book that I published and presented was on electoral law reform and constitutionalism. That's the topic of the book, electoral law reform and constitutionalism. Guess what? That book was published about and launched about 7 months after I was called to the bar. About 7 months after I was called to the bar. And what happened? Before that book was presented, here in FCT, while I was serving as a youth corps, the electoral law reform headed by Justice CJN, the Chief Justice of Nigeria as it then was, Justice Uwais Muhammad. They called for what you call memorandum. Just like now, that we're having constitutional amendments, constitutional amendment of the nation, and they're calling for memorandum from volunteers. Lawyers will not write. But when the deed is done, we begin to make noise. We will not write to say the past, because we will not say they should change us. I wrote. That was how me, that I've not even seen, I've not even had interaction of opportunity of shaking judge of Supreme Court before. Justice Muhammad Uwais became the chairman of that book launch. So you can imagine the kind of people that he brought. I don't know him from Adam. We don't have connection. In fact, people were asking me, how did you connect him? Which connection did you, which portion did you press? And I tell you, and I told people, and I'm telling you now, we didn't have any meeting, physical meeting until the day of the launch. But we were communicating by writing. So what am I saying is that the contribution to the memorandum, I wrote almost how many pages? Memo, picking different areas in the electoral law because I already had interest in, and that's why I decided to do my PhD in that area. And that also has to do with specialization, like the other colleague said, you become known when you just stay, you specialize in the area. People know this is your area. He was impressed that a young lawyer could write such memo to contribute to the nation. So sometimes you don't do certain things that are free. It is not only Femi Falana on SAN, it's not only Michael Zekome, SAN, that can address the public about an issue in the country. You too, you are a lawyer. The responsibility is even there in the NBA Constitution. You too, you can write an open letter to the president because it's part of your responsibility. The first rule says a lawyer shall protect the rule of law. Protect the rule of law. And foster the cause of justice. So it is not just the duty of MBA, it is the duty of a lawyer. So from there, you get your visibility. People get to read about it. And lastly, because of time, is the law of connectivity. Law of connectivity. This one, for visibility, you see, it is like a shade and it's like a circle. When we talk about connectivity, just like we speak now, and many can bear witness, there are certain jobs that you got, not from a client, and they were very impressive, but you got them through another lawyer. And many like that. So connectivity is very important for visibility. You can't be a lone ranger. You can't be a monopoly of yourself. In fact, you can hide somewhere to become visible. October 6th, next month, is presentation of a book I did together with my own supervisor for PhD. That will be the third one. The two others, same way. You see a professor of so, then after him, you see me. I'm not battling to be the, why? Because you need that connectivity. You need that mentorship with, someone who is already there that can lift you up, or someone who is already there that can connect you. By the time they come and say, oh, this work is good. How is it? Professor, how did you come? I say, this is my colleague. I've had the opportunity of going to address a big conference in the name of my boss. Let me say my mentor. Because of connectivity. Before you know it, I become visible through him. But that's another thing. Some of us just want to be, I know it, I can do it alone. That man is still this. Sometimes you may need to be patient to learn. If you have discovered in the legal profession, some people became SAN. Yes, they are brilliant. Yes, they have all what it takes, but without somebody under which they wrote on, body of bencher will probably not have considered it. Oh, this person has been in this place for a year. I will not have ever seen advocate of Nigeria. If he has been serving, we can guarantee that this guy, he's been. So there are people like, so connectivity. Sometimes it may not be also with people you are working with, directly on that. It may also be with people that are associates, colleagues that can connect you. Someone has connected me, for example, before to write briefs for somebody in Canada. And for sometimes I was getting briefs. I need briefs. When I call briefs, I'm talking about the write-up now, not the case. Not that I went there to do a case. But what we call briefs, like it's a form of a legal opinion that became a sort of evidence in the court of appeal in Canada for a particular case. I wouldn't have gotten how to even it's not even possible. I won't even know how to, no connection, nothing. What will take me to write? If not because somebody connected, not necessarily a big person. So visibility can grow with your connectivity. And that has to do with who you are connected with. Who is your friend? You can increase the number, the list of the people that you interact with in the legal profession in order to boost your visibility. And if you have a number of people that you are with, you are connected to, but they are not fetching you any visibility. I'm not saying you should drop them, but you add to them. And when you are adding to them, you look higher. Perhaps somebody that is in a higher plane than where you are, not somebody you are greater than, because those who are great, they are also looking up to you. You look up to some. One day, that connectivity will grant you a large, what do you call it, visibility that you even desire. You just see yourself speaking. On the last note, just the story of one of my students at the law school. Because of the way she was very good, she's very good. And then what happened? Because of the connectivity, somebody just gave her a link. And the woman that gave her the link, the former Minister of Education, I used to find difficult to pronounce her name, now was to address a big organization, United Nations. And then probably she didn't have time, she just sent it up and said, get prepared, we are going to address the United Nations on this. I said, me? She eventually did that, but on that day, people will see her, but somebody gave her the platform because of connectivity. So thank you very much for the privilege to address you on increasing your visibilities. Like I said, before that, your hard work, your place of preparation, your place of hard work, and then the getting set for the stage is important before you talk about visibility. When you are talking about visibility, you can explore your publication, can explore blogs, articles, journals, social media platforms especially, which is of course the modern conferences, participation, getting to meet people, not just sitting down and coming back home without adding to the number of those you can now talk with or interact with. Then the pro bono litigation can help you to become visible. The contribution to national issues as a legal practitioner can get you known beyond the borders of the country. Then also sharing knowledge. From when you share the knowledge, other people will start sharing it for you. And lastly, the law of connectivity of people around you and people that you mingle with. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. We are grateful for this wonderful delivery. I'm sure it's mind-blowing for every one of us, and it just shows that there are lots to learn, even beyond the four walls of the classroom that all of us have gone through. Thank you very much, sir. We want to appreciate you. We just want to take questions and answers now. If you have any question, please indicate so that we can take questions. We are really running behind the scheduled time. So please, let's take questions. Ms. Olusola Ajala is still with us. So please, if you have any questions on the business of law, if you have any question on how to put visibility for yourself as a young lawyer, please ask now so that our speakers can address. While we are waiting for questions, please check the chat box. This meeting is recorded and we would like to share the recording with us. So the name and the phone number rather of the organizer and post on the chat box. Kindly contact us so that we can send the recording to you, that of yesterday and today, by God's grace.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Wale. There is a question from Partner Francis for Olusola. And he's asking, the question is, as lawyers, what type of financial investment will you advise aside of law? What financial investment will you advise? Please, you can unmute yourself and take yourself. Thank you very much. And please let the questions keep coming in so that we can address them in the next 5 minutes.
Okay, that's the question is for Olubusola Ajala. Busola, please, are you still with us? Okay.
Okay, yeah, she's here. Please unmute yourself. You are still muted.
I saw the question earlier, but I'm not very clear about what the person is asking. Is the person asking for financial investments in terms of personal finance, or asking about financial investments for law practice? That question is not clear. So if the person can perhaps and clarify his or her question. I think it's Honor that asked that question. Please, if you can clarify.
Yes.
Honor Francis, yes. So he said, my question is, what type of financial investment would you advise aside practice of law? So are you saying you want to start aside practice of law? So I don't know, please, can you just clarify? Because financial investment is, you can be a lawyer, practicing lawyer, and you have financial investments. So a lot of people have investments, right? So you will need to clarify that question so that I can answer you appropriately. I think you're still on the call, Honor. So maybe the organizers can allow you to unmute yourself so that you can ask your question.
Yes. Honor, if you are online, I think it's a good time for you to put up and give clarification. Honor is here.
He's here. Honor is here. So maybe you want to unmute him.
Before
Sorry, your connection is breaking, so we can't hear you clearly. Ebenezer.
Honor, you can unmute yourself and talk to us.
I think Honor is not.
For Olubusola, I think what he wants to, if you understand the question well, is he on now?
Good evening.
Okay, Honor is here.
Yes, welcome.
Hello, I can get you. Yeah. Good evening. Yeah, my question is as regarding. I don't know. I'm blessed by the lesson. But my question would be, as regarding ownership and running of business is expensive, or should I put it this way, it's hectic. It's not easy merging it together with the legal practice itself. My question is, in terms of investment, invest like financial investment as to stock investment, ownership of shares, fixed deposit, and so on. Which financial investment is more suitable as a lawyer? Since believe they say we can't own a discussion as law.
Sorry, please, can you come again because you are breaking?
I'm trying to type it. As lawyers, we can establish businesses, but are not allowed on like what investment or schemes of investment as to stock, owning of shares, and so on. Will it be advisable as lawyers to operate in?
Okay, I get you now. But Honor, the first thing I need to mention is that when we talk about business of law, we are not talking about you going to start another business aside law practice. No, that is not what business of law is. We are not saying you should go and own other businesses because you you would agree with me that the legal profession is a very jealous profession. So you have to you have to if you want to make meaning, right, good meaning from your law practice, you have to do only law practice. I mentioned that, I ran a catering business for 10 years. I'm still a very good cook. I still, I can still cook, but am I still running my catering business? No. At the start of my legal career, I was still running my catering business, hoping that or thinking that I would be able to run my catering business side by side my law practice. But the truth is, there is what is called focus, and energy goes in the direction of focus. What you focus on expands. If you can't focus on two things, people talk about multitasking, but you can't really multitask. What people do is you switch tasks. You don't multitask. So the power of focus is very important. So what I have said today about the business of law is not you starting another business outside of law practice. No, it is you running your law practice as a business, understanding the dynamics to it, which involves sales, marketing, finance, branding, specialization, and all of those things that I have mentioned. Now, to your question as to getting other form of investment, there are quite a number of investments you can go into. Now, I'm not a financial expert or analyst, so I might not be able to give you the right response answers, right? But what I would say is that there is a community called the Money Africa community. They teach a lot about personal finance. I mean, we have brought them to our own SLB community to teach lawyers on personal finance, investments, and all of those things. So you may want to search for Money Africa. They are on LinkedIn, they are on Facebook, they are on Instagram. And everybody on this call, you can search for Money Africa. They will teach you a lot about your finances, how to manage your finances, and the kind of investments you want to do. A lot of people talk about mutual funds before, but with the way the economy is now, mutual fund is not viable, right? I mean, I pulled out my own money from mutual funds because I was not getting any returns on it. So mutual funds is not viable. So you may be looking at platforms that allow you to buy, bonds, to buy euro bonds, to buy stocks and shares in foreign in developed countries. So there are quite a number of them. And then you can also look at stock exchange, the Nigerian stock exchange. There are quite a number of stock on our stock exchange market that does very well in terms of numbers, in terms of profits. You can look at it. But the best way to get, to get your feet or to get started on this journey is by one of the fastest way to learn is joining a community. Now, you may not have money to pay a coach. One of the things I do when I want to learn or when I want to, get some clarity is I look for a coach in that area. I pay the coach to teach me, to train me. Now, you may not have money to hire a coach because sometimes, one-on-one coaching might be quite expensive. But joining a community will help you because the benefits of being in a community is you now have people with diverse experience, diverse perspectives, opinion, diverse, experience, expertise, knowledge to share. So at the end of the day, by the time you get all those opinions, you have something robust with which you to make a decision. And those in Money Africa community, they are experts, so they will teach you everything, right? So yeah, so that's what I can say. But I'm not what I have said about business of law is that you should run your practice as a business. I'm not saying that you should go and start another business outside law practice, no, but run your practice as a business. I hope that's clear.
All right, thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for that. Someone is asking that what is SLB community, and I think we have already addressed that. That's strictly law business, if I'm correct, and that's your outfit. So we can all sign up to be a part of that. For the time being, we don't have any questions anymore. And is there any question? No.
No. SLB is not NBA session on law business. No. SLB is strictly law business. Section on business of law is SBL.
Yes.
So SLB is strictly law business. The NBA section on business law, that's totally different. So they teach you about all those commercial transactions, corporate commercial and all of that. But what we do in SLB is we're teaching you the business aspects of even those commercial transactions you are doing. So we are teaching you the business aspect. So SLB is strictly law business. It's totally different, entirely different from the section on business of law, which is the arm of the MBA.
MBA, all right. Thank you so very much. If you listen to Dr. Oluwadais, you will know that to be a lecturer is not beans. He delivered his papers so well, and in just in a fraction of a minute, he summarized all his presentations. And I'm sure we all already have that. And we are sincerely grateful to him for that wonderful time and for all the wisdom he has poured out. We have all learned, and I'm sure we are all living better than we joined this webinar. And to Olubusola Ajala, thank you so very much also for your time. You have given of yourself and of your system. I know if we are to pay for this session, can you just give us a snippet on how much you will charge for this session that you have given to us? Now, talking from the business perspective, you are looking at the costing your time. If you are to bill us now to participate in this session, how much will this cost?
I will not talk about it, because if I'm going to bill you, I'm going to bill you per person.
Yes, I'm talking about per person. Yes, I'm talking about per person now.
How many hours have we spent here? I think we started by 5. Yes. I've spoken for maybe close to an hour. Maybe Wale is my friend, so maybe I could just do 70K per person.
Wow, so converting it to dollars now. I know you want to take in dollars because that's the
definitely. Definitely, but we can definitely.
And I think every one of us have learned. And we're talking to one of our very seniors in the profession sometime back, and then he was saying to us that mentorship cannot be underestimated in this profession, because if you must go far, you must learn to ride on the shoulders of people who have gone ahead of you. And we have heard it again this evening from Busola's concluding statement. She said when she needs to learn a thing, she pays a coach. So there is no point you get to in your journey that you don't need somebody to learn from. And it's good that we have learned from ourselves. I want to really appreciate each and every one of you who had made our time to be here. And for all our speakers from yesterday till today, we are really grateful to you. We say a big thank you. And we hope that when next we call on all of you, you will still oblige us and be available to share of your wealth of knowledge and experience. So at this point, I remain Ebenezer Olorunju, and it's a privilege being your anchor. I don't know if I have bored you. I don't know if I have done well, but I want to hand over now to Mr. Oluwole Olatunde.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Ebenezer.
Who will give?
Thank you very
Sorry,
much.
I think there's still sorry, I'm so sorry to interrupt, but I think that there's still a question here that we didn't address. So perhaps we didn't look at it very well. One Oyinko, and I don't know if she's still here. Yeah, I think she's still here. Oyinkolade Akinleye is asking a question about, please, I want to ask for a young lawyer, how long should it take for him or her to start his master's? Should it be immediately after law school or a space of few years should be given?
Oh, okay, I didn't see that. Thanks. Please, can you quickly address that?
Okay, Oyinkola, I think maybe you would have come in after I'd spoken, because I'd addressed that area in my when I was speaking. And one thing
Yes.
I said that I mentioned then is that I was talking to somebody earlier on today, trying to interview the person for a job. And the person was saying, oh, one of the reasons that may make me not stay long on this job is because I'm considering doing my master's. And I asked her, how long have you been working, or when did you graduate? I said about 3 years ago. And I said, I mean, you guys are always running off to do masters like very quickly and all of that. While it is not, it's not wrong to do your masters, but I think that it is better to learn the ropes, get the knowledge, gain and build a lot of competence, specialization, get known before running off to do masters. And I usually say for lawyers, most of the best lawyers today, they don't have masters. Most of the best lawyers today don't have masters. I don't have masters, right? I don't have masters, and I'm not even considering taking a master's in law. I'm not considering taking a master's in law because the beauty of law is that you can learn all you need to know without going for a master's. You can, take short courses. You can read a whole lot, and learn on the job without going for masters. Is masters wrong? No. If you are looking at going in the academic, right, you want to build your career in the academic, by all means, go for a master's. But if you're not looking at building a career in the academic, I think you can take some few years, to build yourself, to build, to gain grounds, to have a solid foundation before going for masters. Because sometimes, and with benefits of hindsight for those who have taken their masters, somebody said to me that I wish I didn't take my masters at the time I took it, because I just, worked for a few years. So the area in which I took my master's is not where I'm practicing currently, right? So, but I mean, if you had like 5-7 years of experience, you would have been able to identify, your area of interest where you actually want to build your practice around, and then you can settle to take a master's in that area. But beyond just masters, and if you are really looking at masters, I would advise, that you do something within the business space, maybe an MBA, an MSc. For us at the Strictly Law Business, we are looking at starting something like a mini MBA for lawyers, because it's really, really important that lawyers understand that aspect. So I would say that if it is compulsory that you take your master's, wait a few more years, 5 to 7 years, gain ground, be well rooted before running off for masters. So Oyinkolade, I hope that addresses your question. Thank you.
Sorry, let me just chip in something. Perhaps Oyinkansola is also thinking of joining us in the academics. Then I would say it's the other way around. The earlier, the better. So if your goal, your focus is to become a professor, please do it as soon as possible, because in the ladder of you climbing up to become a professor, you need to be very early in life. And if you become a professor, you can remain there for years, and that will help you to becoming a professor emeritus. For example, now Professor Shibaji is a professor emeritus because those he taught in school have become professors. But if you don't do it on time, it will affect you. When I got my PhD defended in 2019, people said, oh, so fast, so young. I laughed. I said, ask me how many years I spent. I spent 6 years and 2 months for that PhD, that somebody will get abroad and get two PhDs within that range. But because I started early, so people say, it's too fast, it's fast. Oh, this guy is brilliant, he got it early. So if you know where you are going, especially in the area of academics, the earlier the better. So you get, but if probably in practice, like she said, you may have to wait a little to know where you are going to be convinced. Because, for example, somebody who got overall best in the law school, I had to advise him to know where he's going before getting to do masters. And for 2 years, he was working in Lekki in Lagos, gathering money, and he got finalized the area. By the time he got abroad, he became the overall best in Oxford University. You know him. Longe Opeyemi, he just wedded last weekend. You can imagine that. So you may not have to rush because he's into practice now. He's practicing abroad in UK. So his area is not focusing academics. So he took time before doing it. But if you are into academics, it's better you get it done early. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Busola. Thank you very much, Dr. Aki Oluwadaisi. We are very, very grateful for having you speak to us this evening. Busola has been my friend from university days. Remember those days in class 1 conference when we have to sit and gist and talk. I'm planning something soon. Probably I have to bring myself to Lagos for laying of hands from Busola. Thank you very much, Dr. Aki Oluwadaisi. Dr. Aki Oluwadaisi has been a motivation to me. I got 3 jobs in Abuja through him, and he's a big brother to me. And I'm very, very grateful for being a part of this program this evening. Thank you to everyone that have been on the call. I can't start calling and listing names of people, but permit me to recognize the presence of one of my big mummies, Mommy Oyilola Olatunji. Thank you for being part of this call. Thank you, Busayo. Thank you, Ope. Thank you, Aki. Thank you, everybody. Now, in closing, I just want to prepare our mind that when next we'll be having another section on the legal learning mentorship program, we'll be looking at some of the factors to consider in choosing area of specialization and the career path. Just like Busola said, for me, doing a master's for you, someone who wants to go, who is into the core practice, is not something that you should just jump into. If not, you will probably have to do like 4 or 5 masters, because you keep developing and you keep finding areas that you need to develop yourself in. So we are trusting that very soon we'll get in touch with you on the next session of our mentorship webinar. And we are also proposing to have someone like Ms. Busola again to give us a proper training. So probably by that time, we have to arrange for a paid training. Thank you very much, everyone. Please contact me on my phone number so that we could share the recording of these sections to as many of us that are interested in having it. Thank you very much. We are grateful to have you, Dr. Aki Oluwadaisi and Ms. Busola Ajala. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ebenezer. Thank you, Dicky. Thank you, everyone that has been part of this session. Thank you very much. You have a wonderful night rest.
Can I ask if anybody is willing or interested in joining the SLP community? They can indicate interest.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Anyone interested in joining the Strictly Law Business, you can contact me. You can also contact Busola Ajala. I think you can drop your contact on the chat box. I will also...
my name is Olubusola Ajala across board. LinkedIn, I'm very big on LinkedIn, so I would respond to you once you just send me a connection request or once you send me a connection request, I'll connect with you and then I'll respond to you accordingly. But I need to mention, just to prepare our mind, that the SLB community is an exclusive community, so it's not a free community, it's a paid community. But if you mention to me that you are joining from legal learning, and I know that we are young lawyers or new weeks, then I can arrange for a discount for you, but it's not a free community because of the kind of value that we deliver there. So, but then if you mention to me that you are from that from the legal learning, I'll give a discount, and that discount is just going to be between now and tomorrow Friday. Yeah. So between now and
Thank you very much.
Join, I will give you a fantastic discount.
Okay. Thank you very much, Busola, for that kind gesture. We are grateful.
Yeah, well,
right. So we've come to the end of the section, the first edition of our webinar. Will be getting in touch with us as we unfold plans for subsequent webinar. Thank you very much. God bless you.
All right.
Yeah.